Here is part 2 of the FLA attack on the JCF member. The attack by the FLA on the JCF member is a covert war against the United States of America. Yes, let me tell you, it's a covert war against the United States of America. And it started from May 29, 2010, when the Jamaica Constabulary Force were able to help the American to extradite Christopher Dodus Cook. And this is the repayment for the Jamaican police to help the American law enforcement agency. So the war that has been going on by the FLA against the police force and its member, current and past, it's an attack against America. So Jamaica is in a covert war with America. Jamaica cannot war with America physically, because they will lose. So what they're doing, they're warring with American allies. And the ally is the Jamaica Constabulary Force member, because they are for law and order. The elected official in both political parties, they are on the side of the criminals. You have to understand that. When you have short attention span, it is because you are suffering from attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, they call it ADHD. It is a behavioral disorder that typically begins in childhood and is characterized by a short attention span, inattention, and inability to be calm and stay and stay still. They are hyperactivity and poor impulse control. That is why most Jamaicans act off impulse. They're emotionally troubled. Do you know which animal that have the shortest attention span? Yeah, most Jamaicans don't even know that. It's the goldfish. The goldfish are said to have an attention span of 5 seconds, which is approximately longer than a visitor to this YouTube channel. Young police officers and Jamaican people who are law-abiding citizens. Here are 8 ways to improve your attention span. 1. Mediate. Mediation is one of the best ways to improve your focus, as it is the mental training of your attention. So, that's help you strengthen the attention span. So, I've spoken to police and they said, boy, they couldn't be a detective because it's too much writing and everything. It's because they have low attention span. You understand? They need help to build it. 2, you need to exercise. You understand what I'm saying? I used to exercise, when I was at Onspear. And guess how I exercise every day? Myself and Bobby Williams. We used to ride bicycle. Yeah, man, police used to laugh at us because we get wet and stuff like that. But they didn't know that we were working. Plus, we were getting health benefits from it. You understand? And right now, none of us don't have diabetes or anything like that. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. Flush the system. You understand? Ask question. Don't be like no organ robot, just go along with what they tell you. Ask question we're meant to ask. Yeah, drink some tea. You understand? Any kind of tea. Once it's tea. Best way, whenever you're talking to somebody, especially people who's above you, take notes by hand. Yes, man, get a little notebook and write it down what they are saying. Because, documents prove liars to be liars, Chew gum, chew a chewing gum, it might sound harsh, but I'm trying to build you guys mentally to get better at everything that you are doing. All right. So, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police Channel. This is part 2. We are an experienced detective of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Is here to educate you with facts, evidence, and corruption about the Jamaican Firearm License Authority. The CEO is operated by one of the United States of America biggest enemy. Let me repeat myself. The CEO of the Jamaica Firearm License Authority is operated by one of the United States of America biggest enemy, Mr. Shane Dallin, who is a confidant of Mrs. Juliet Holness, the wife of Prime Minister of Jamaica, St. Andrew Holiness. So this is a part two. Jamaica young police and Jamaican people, also those who are in the diaspora. I am not a political activist. I am one of your former detectives who is not beholden to any political party or anyone in Jamaica. I do believe that criminals must live in fear for their lives, not the law-abiding citizen. I would like to see the police officers in Jamaica who have served and are still serving to be respected as police officers, as it is done by the United States of America, and not the criminal gang leaders. In October 1987, I was at the Jamaica Police Academy, Twickenham Park, Spanish Town, as a police cadet, and all these men that I have mentioned before, that are gang leaders and commander of militias in Jamaica and holders of licensed firearms. One of these men contracted 3 gunmen and a corrupt police officer who was the driver of the car and took the men to a certain home in Kingston where they killed a judge named Derek Hugh. The same man who is responsible for the judge's death was so fortunate that the detective in the case, was his friend. Eventually, the same police officer gave the same man, the man who it is known to have paid the killers to kill the judge, his licensed firearm to protect himself because his firearm license was revoked. Nevertheless, the same man who is responsible for killing a Jamaican judge can have his license, firearm, several guns, and access to high power weapon and militia. Why is he able to be in possession of a firearm license? Today, not one of our police officers have been involved in any killing of any judges in Jamaica, except for one of the former member who is a political activist who drove the car to the house of the late judge and fell asleep that night in question. That one of our police officers was lost their firearm license and resigned, who have left their firearm licenses and resigned in another country, are gang leaders and who have access to several illegal guns. Do you know what that man is? Yes, the photograph of that man. Yes, man, that man is Colonel Spencer, a former member for the PMP LGBTQ party and a minister of government who was arrested and charged for defrauding the Jamaican taxpayers millions of dollars. Those of us who are following the case knew that he was going to be exonerated by the trial judge, senior magistrate Judith Pusey, and was promoted to the Supreme Court. Colonel Spencer is an holder of a licensed firearm, and he goes bird hunting every year. And the FLA would not question him about the money that he stole from the Jamaican people and take away his gun. What is Colonel Spencer's contribution to Jamaica? He stole millions from the Jamaican people's coffer and pocketed it for himself and his cronies. 4. Do you know these men? Yes, that's Danai Williams, that is Kenneth Black, and that is George Brown. Kenneth Black, otherwise called Ken now, who is a member of the PMP LGBTQ plus party and who has famously thrown down $100,000 in cash of United States currency to Michael Manley during the 1989 general election at the National Arena. If you think that I'm lying, just type in his name and Michael Manley, and you will see the evidence from the foreign press when they were questioning the late Michael Manley, who was Prime Minister then. Kenneth Black is also known to have his own militia gang in Ridensbury, Clarendon. He has several Gazette and barefoot police officers in his back pocket, but not Mford Wade. He tried to recruit Mford Wade to become his boy, and Mford Wade put him in his place. Mford Wade is a friend of mine, you understand? He's just a few miles from where I used to live, in my as a growing up. Both of us were at training school together. Both of us were at Clarendon. Different mindset. We don't believe in certain kind of things. Yes, man. And Skengdang militia is responsible for death of several Jamaicans. He's also a holder of a license firearm, and the FLA would not dare to take away his guns or question him how he came by his wealth because he's politically connected. What was his contribution to Jamaica? Illegal guns to his gang, music, and he has never served the Jamaican people to make Jamaica a better place that people could live and raise their children. He's one of them who has made it inhabitable for Jamaicans to live. Especially, he's one of the biggest supporter of the Klansman gang from Spanish Town, which is a PMP LGBTQ gang, supported by, as you can see, Peter Phillips, who is the main supporter of the Klansman gang as minister. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, these men, all three of them, Skengdon, Danai Williams, and George Brown, do you know what all three of them have in common? All of these men, they are gang leaders. They have militias with illegal guns. They have access to illegal guns. But these three men, including Colonel Spencer, all of them have legal guns, and who Danai Williams was arrested and charged with fraud, and he was convicted in a court of law. But in Jamaica, PMP do not go to prison because the entire system is PMP country. And for me to tell you that I was a detective for a third of my life in Jamaica, and that is what echoed even from people who work at the court. They will tell you that Jamaica is a PMP country and PMP cannot go to prison. So for people in the court to tell you that, you know that they know that is what the judges are arguments that they have overheard, so they're sharing what they have heard. So you got to understand that Jamaica is not a normal place. So this man, Shane Dallin, he has been along with the support of the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's wife and the Minister of Injustice, Delroy Chat, the man who support the cop killer Andrew Pang that killed woman constable Karen Tindall. It's going 20 years. So most of you young police officers would not know that. So you have three men. All of these men that you're looking at, one of them is responsible for the death of a judge. Let me repeat myself, police officers and Jamaican people. Because most Jamaicans have short memory span. One of these men that you're looking at have licensed firearms. His contribution to Jamaica is only to the PMP LGBTQ party, and he's responsible for saturated the PMP LGBTQ plus communities in Jamaica with guns. So these men who are behind the guns, they decide who to live in their community and who is to stay. So these gangs or the mini governments because they don't need to go to parliament to pass laws. To pass laws, they give that instructions from right where they are, and they tell the people what they can do from what they cannot do. One of these men, all one of these man, one of these men have licensed firearms and is responsible for killing of a judge in October 1987. This same man, he has a lot of senior police officers in his pocket, politicians on both sides of the aisle. The FLA, Shane Dallin, would not dare to take away none of these men firearm. But do you see who he's attacking? Along with Justice Minister, the cop killer supporter, Delroy Chuck, they are attacking the police. And it's not a coincidence why they are attacking the police. It is because it's the war, the covert war that the Jamaican government has been fighting against the United States of America covertly, but not against America. It's against America per se, and the only ally the American government have in Jamaica is the police. Remember that the people who are passing laws in Jamaica, they are criminals, you know. You understand? And along with the elitists. So they are the one that persecute the police and make sure that you have murderers that can kill 30 people and they just walk in and walk out of police station without repercussion. No preemptive strike to get rid of these people. You kill somebody one time and that's it because life is precious. The attack on the police force is an attack on the United States of America government. Yes, how do I know that? Because ever since the extradition of Christopher Duduscook, we have seen the trajectory and the hatred for the police have increased at a level that is untenable. You understand? And most people they are afraid to speak up against the government in Jamaica because you know that the government in Jamaica is very corrupt. As you can see, the judge, Julie Pusey, that she was promoted after she had acquitted Kern Spencer of what he has done after he had stole money from the Jamaican people. So not only that, the system itself, so that's a judge right there. The system itself, is very corrupt. You understand what I'm saying? We have judged it all the way from the top. But the thing is that my thing with these people is about the police officer. You understand? When you attack the police officers, then you know that it's bad. Really, really bad. Every government in this world need the police to survive, to maintain law and order. And we have seen the attack by these people relentlessly against the police. Jamaica is heading in the same direction as Haiti. You understand? And those who have eyes to see, let them see. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. That's what is happening right now in Jamaica today. This government, along with the PNP LGBTQ party and its leader Mark Golden and all the others PNP LGBTQ member of parliament and JLP LGBTQ party members, all of them in parliament, they have come to one consensus, and the United States of America is their enemy because they have extradited Christopher Dudus Coke, Jamaica's most powerful citizen, to the United States of America. And the only way to get back at the United States of America is to attack the police force. That is why we are seeing where police officers who have been shot and injured almost lost their lives in Jamaica and they migrated to America only to return to Jamaica. That this man, Shane Dallin, revoked their firearm license. And then it will take then They want the cops to go to court for their license to return. The system needs to change. Shane Dallin is the man who's heading the operation in the covert war against the United States of America. Shane Dallin is one of America's biggest enemies in Jamaica. Shane Dallin is an enemy of the United States of America. Shane Dallin is an enemy of law-abiding citizens. Shane Dallin is an enemy of the Jamaican police force. Shane Dallin is a friend of the criminals in Jamaica. Do you know how many people who are convicted of drugs since the since Shane Dallin is CEO at the Firearm Licensing Authority and have been granted firearms, and not one criminal charge has been brought against him because he's protected. Jamaica is a banana republic. He's been protected, and we see it over and over and over in the press. But yet, his attack on the police force is unrelenting. And the Prime Minister of Jamaica, St. Andrew Holiness, because Shane Dallin is his wife confidant. He just sat idle by, either wittingly or unwittingly supporting this man to be attacking the police force and its member. It needs to stop. Every police officers who have served and who are serving in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, it's not only an entitlement, it's supposed to be a right. It's supposed to be a right, because when you have served your country and willing to put your life on the line for your country, that's supposed to be one right that they're supposed to be upholding. No police officer should not be doing fingerprint who is serving in the police force. That's undue pressure that goes to show you that these people have no respect for police officers in Jamaica. Shane Dallin is an enemy of the United States of America. Shane Dallin, we are watching you, and don't think that we are not watching you. Thanks, young police and Jamaican people, for listening, and those in the diaspora. Part 3 is coming up because the people's attention span is so small, so I have to keep it short. Have yourself a nice day. All the best.